Content warning. This film contains references to child sexual abuse, family violence, drug use, self-harm and suicidal ideation. NDIS and Feros Care logo. Title: Stigma Doesn't Live Here. Stories of mental health resilience. Lou's story.
I was told never to scream. I really didn't know what was really going on.
Lou is walking up a grassy hill near the ocean.
I'm 53 years of age. I'm a freelance worker with domestic violence and mental health services in Mackay. I'm very maternal, probably because when Mum was pregnant with me, she was matron in charge of midwifery and maternity. So in utero, I would have heard a lot of babies taking their first breath. That's where I think I get a lot of my heightened spiritual awareness from. When I have downtime, it's usually with my support worker. Got supports 5 days a week. Good morning from my support worker when she turns up. We go out and have a cup of tea on the veranda, and she took me from the brink of death. From conception onwards, I was laid bare to the effects of domestic and family violence, and I thought that was normal. It was shortly after that everything started going the way it did. Mum thought something was wrong with me, so she took me to see a psychiatrist, diagnosed me with anxiety and depression, and he couldn't get to the root cause of why.
Lou enters a local convenience shop. She opens the drink fridge and takes out a bottle of milk.
It started at the age of 4. It was pretty brutal. It did usually happen when I was in the backyard, kicking my ball. The boy next door had a pit in the ground with a glass lid on top of it, and he kept snakes in there. And then that's when he would grab me and pin me face down on the glass while sexually abusing me. It lasted until I was 18 years old. He'd say that he was teaching me how to be a good woman. Like we did sex ed at school, and there was nothing mentioned in there about having to train them how to be a good wife. But being at that age, I didn't actually know how to get out of that trauma brain. I really didn't know how to feel. I just kept it all quiet.
Lou is at the counter of a local convenience shop, purchasing a bottle of milk.
I ran away from home. I saw some pretty colourful things. I mean, like all drugs can be dirty, but the amphetamines, and that was my drug of choice. Drank a hell of a lot too. I ran out of money, and I was like, well, what am I going to do for money? And I got into stripping, as I thought it was my way of being able to heal from the sexual abuse. When I was on the streets and doing the drugs and everything, I endured DV for 9 years. I received a hell of a lot of injuries. Broken collarbone in 2 places, fractured shoulder blade, fractured sternum and a fractured eye socket. Walls and floorboards don't bounce. And that all turned to rack and ruin and nearly killed me. And then I went and stayed with my friend. I turned around and he said, I found the perfect place for you. It's time for you to get out of here and get yourself stabilised. He took me to this supported accommodation facility, and I ended up getting a room there with a bed. And within probably 2.5 months of being there, I ended up being second in charge. Being sober for 13 years changed a hell of a lot with me. I never thought I'd get to this stage in life. Just got a whole different perspective on life now, and I've still got the ability within me to reach out, try and help people. For the Repercussions from Concussions program, it's still in its infancy. We're doing a trial run here in Mackay. It was just something that dawned on me one day last year about the footballers and what the effects of the constant concussions had upon them, I thought to myself, wow, I wonder what it's done to my brain. They actually gave me an MRI and proper CT scan. The neurologist said to me that my brain lit up like a Christmas tree. The Repercussions program brings around awareness, trying to get it through to first responders that when they attend a DV incident, that they've got to call QAS to come and do a head injury assessment. What are some of the signs and symptoms to look out for? Hospitals have got to do better. Governments have got to do better. At the end of the day, I just want to be a voice and an advocate. Welcome and thank you everyone for your attendance today. My name is Louise, but I prefer to be called Lou. I'm going to start with an overview into my own experiences with the speech that I did for my presentation at the uni. It's been a bit of a daunting process. It was a pinch me moment. I've always kept a lot of it in my head. If I can save one victim's life, then I know that what's in my head and comes out on paper and goes into the community, then I know I've done my job.
On screen, if you or a loved one are experiencing mental illness or distress, please reach out to one of the below organisations in Australia. Lifeline 13 11 40, Beyond Blue 1300 224 636, 13 Yarn 139 276. Share the stories and spread the message that stigma doesn't live here. feroscare.com.au/hope.